All new employees to the Chautauqua County Board of Elections are required to fill out an I-9 employment form.
All election inspectors are required to attend a yearly training class sponsored by the Chautauqua County Board of Elections. Applicants who pass the exam at training and remain available to work at the 2019 general election on November 5th, 2019, will receive $25 with your general election pay in December. You must be able to work on November 5th, 2019 to receive payment for the training.
We need you to review the inspector guidelines. Your poll site coordinator will review these guidelines with you at your opening meeting. The Board of Elections is not responsible for any lost or stolen items at the poll site.
On Election Day, we need to pay closer attention as to who we are paying attention to. This actually happened at one of our poll sites. There was a line around the room with people waiting to use the machines. Then as I was next in line, the woman that was monitoring the machine I was going to pulled her cell phone out and began texting, ignoring everyone in line. I cast my ballot and tried to return the sleeve to the woman, but she was still on the cell phone and totally ignored me. This whole experience rubbed me the wrong way. We understand that there may be situations during the course of the day where you need to receive a phone call or a text message. You must discuss this with the poll site coordinator beforehand so they can make arrangements to replace you. We never should be using our cell phones while we are assisting voters. Remember, there is a time and a place.
Every poll site has a poll site coordinator. This person will meet with you in the morning, assign you to a team, and give you further instructions. Remember, all teams are bipartisan, and the team you start the day with is the team you are on at the end of the day. Any questions you have during the day should be directed to your poll site coordinator.
Election inspectors who are assigned to the floor team, ask yourself the question, what am I supposed to do during the day? What are my responsibilities? What do you think is the most important responsibility you have during the day? The floor team sets the pace for the election process during the course of the day. The floor team is responsible for clear direction signs by the use of vote here signs. We must make sure there's ample parking and clearly marked handicap spots. We must make sure there's easy access to the building. We need to post maps to make sure the voter can find which district or which table they need to go to. Also, post sample ballots on the placards for the voter to review. Dunkirk and Jamestown, remember, we have both Spanish and English ballots. Greet the voters. Make them comfortable. Remember, proper directions are the key to ensuring a successful voting experience on Election Day.
All the signage that you need for the course of the day you will find in the green bag. Remember, it is our responsibility to give clear directions. Also, during the day, we need to be available to all voters to answer questions and assist the voter if needed. Also found in the green sign bag are the magnifiers you will need to put into the yellow privacy booths. Remember, it is our responsibility at the end of the night to return the magnifiers to the green bag. Here is a picture of the supplies that are returned to the machine at the end of the night. Remember, there is a laminated sheet inside the machine that is a reminder of what to pack at the end of the night.
Now let's move on to the responsibilities of the table team. What do you think your responsibilities are here? What are your goals? What's your biggest problem or concern on Election Day? What can we do to help? Any help that you may need, please ask your poll site coordinator for assistance. During the morning meeting, the poll site coordinator will discuss with you any pertinent issues. There may be instructions because of changes that took place since the training in the summer. They will remind you of your duties regarding election inspector etiquette. They'll remind you of the importance of properly filling out reports. They'll issue the chocolate bag and the supplies from the poll site coordinator bag. Remember, we are working as a bipartisan team here. We need to remove any confusion from the voter as soon as possible. We need to put up election district signs where needed. These signs need to be visible from every vantage point of the entrance. Sign-in tables should be set apart from each other in multiple district poll sites. Here is a sample picture of a single district with the sign-in table and multiple district. You can see the tables are clearly set apart and they need to be clearly marked. We need to make sure the voter can find their way to the correct table as easily as possible.
Here you can see the items found in the poll site coordinator bag and the chocolate bag. Here's a listing of what you will find in the chocolate bag. Please review. Also, here's a sample of the forms used on Election Day that are found in the raspberry. Remember, after these forms are completed and signed, they must be returned to the Board of Election in the raspberry folder at the end of the night. The table team should remove the following from the machine. In multiple districts, sort optical scan ballots according to ballot ID number with the corresponding poll books. Remember to keep provisional affidavit ballots separate, and remember, provisional affidavit ballots begin with number 2. Remove the transmittal report from the raspberry. And check to make sure that you have the correct transmittal report and ballots at your poll site.
Why does the Board of Elections send out the transmittal reports? You at the poll site must confirm that you've received the proper ballots. You do this by comparing the ballot identification numbers on the ballot with the numbers on the transmittal report. You're also confirming that you received the booklets that we sent you. You're also confirming that you have all the ballots sent by the Board of Elections staff. We do this by verifying the starting and ending numbers. Remember, this is a legal receipt for the ballots pertaining to this election, and it must be signed and then returned to the raspberry. On the transmittal report, we're going to ask you to record the ballot ID number. We're going to ask you to record the number of booklets you received, the starting number you received, and the ending number you received. You're going to do this in the shaded areas. This is a comparison to what we said we sent and what you actually received. Remember, this is done in a bipartisan manner, and both inspectors must complete the report by signing on the appropriate party line. If you have multiple districts at your poll site, you will have multiple transmittal reports. All of them must be completed. If you find any irregularities, such as the wrong ballot ID number, or you did not receive the number of booklets that we sent you, or you don't have the starting number as number 1, please report this to your poll site coordinator immediately. When greeting the voter, we always want you to address the voter in a polite and respectful manner. And remember, regardless of their relationship to you, you must always ask the voter for their complete name. One of our little tips is, let your close friend, the voter, know that you have to ask everyone their name. This will also save you embarrassment when you can't remember your friend's name. If you cannot find the voter's name in the poll book, ask him or her to spell it. If you still can't find the name, ask them if they've changed their name since the last time they voted. If the voter has changed their name but has not moved out of the district, and you find their previous name in the poll book, please ask them to sign their old name above the computer-generated name to the left and their new name in the blank signature box. Record this on the challenge report, and then we're going to ask them to please sign their new name on the challenge report so we may update the poll book for the next election.
Here's a sample of when a voter changes their name. The voter signs their old name in the left box above the old signature, and also signs their new name in the voter signature box to the right. Here is where they would record their new name on the challenge report. Occasionally, a voter will ask how they can update their signature in the poll book. The voter may update their signature by
filing
a new voter registration form.
No voter with a residence in New York State should ever be turned away from a poll site. Voters should be allowed to either vote on the machine if we find their name in the poll book, issued a provisional affidavit ballot, or referred to the proper location if we find they belong somewhere else. If they are asked to fill out a provisional affidavit ballot, the voter will be notified if their ballot was counted, and also their voter registration forms will be updated by the Board of Elections.
What if the voter's name is not in the poll book? Here are some simple steps to follow. Ask your partner for help. Ask the voter to spell their name. Ask the voter if they have recently moved. Using the voter's address, make sure they are in the correct poll site. If your poll site has multiple districts, check all poll books. Ask the voter if they have ever registered. If you still can't find the voter's name, ask the poll site coordinator for assistance.
Remember, if the voter's name is not in your poll books, they are not allowed to vote on the machine without getting a court order. If the voter is in the correct poll site but not in the poll book, use the provisional affidavit ballot. If you find they need to be voting somewhere else, issue them a referral slip to the correct poll site. If a voter enters Wheelock School to vote and their name is not in the poll book, and we follow all the procedures and get to the point where we need to ask them their address, and they tell us they live at 8201 Bear Lake Road in the town of Pomfret, where does this voter vote? By going to the Street Finder, we will look up the town of Pomfret. Then we will look up Bear Lake Road. We will then try to find their address, 8201. We will see that it falls in the parameters of 8061 and 8215. Their polling place name is the Boses Laguitas Center, and their address is also listed for where to find the Boses Laguitas Center. We will issue a referral form sending the voter to the correct polling site. After it has been determined that the voter is not in the poll book and that the voter is in the correct location, the voter will be allowed to vote by using a provisional affidavit ballot. The voter will be asked to go to a table where election inspectors will assist with filling out the provisional affidavit application. Please review these steps. On Election Day, staff members who have been trained in filling out affidavit ballots will be asked to do this job, but you should be aware of the process. Detailed instructions will also be available on Election Day, and if you have any problems, always include the poll site coordinator. Remember, no voter will be turned away without being allowed to vote on the machine, affidavit ballot, or referred to the proper voting location.
Based on their current address, and you find by using the district map and Street Finder the voter belongs in another location, the voter will be issued a referral slip to the proper poll site. All voters referred must be issued a referral slip. The referral is a record of the voter being properly instructed and must be initialed by the poll site coordinator. Here's a sample of the new revised referral slip. Please note at the bottom line is where the poll site coordinator's signature will go.
Before a voter is issued a ballot, they must sign the poll book. In New York State, matching the voter signature in the poll book is all that is required for proof of identification. We cannot issue a ballot until the voter has signed the poll book. If there is any question in your mind about the signatures matching, please get your poll site coordinator involved immediately. Also realize that when a voter registers, they need to provide us with some sort of identification at registration. If identification is not provided when the voter registers, we will require identification, and it will show that in the poll book. Acceptable forms of identification are listed in the inspector binder. We continue to issue the wrong ballot. Why? The voter must receive a ballot with an ID number that matches the ballot ID number on the front of the poll book they signed. You will see on the front of this poll book cover, it says ballot ID number 1001. When the voter is issued the ballot, they must receive ballot ID number 1001. The ballot ID number is clearly marked on the bottom right-hand corner of the ballot. It states ballot ID number 1001. If the voter signed the poll book and the front cover says ballot ID 1001, they must receive the corresponding ballot number 1001.
Who can assist the voter? Family, friend, and bipartisan inspectors. Who cannot assist the voter? An employer or a union official. People who are assisting the voter must be properly recorded on the challenge sheet.
During the day, we are dealing with various types of ballots. We have voided ballots. This happens when a voter makes a mistake and requests a new ballot. We have abandoned ballots. This is a ballot that's found anywhere in the ballot marking area and no one is there to claim ownership of the ballot. We have unscanned ballots. Any ballot that will not scan or any ballot left behind in the voting area. A number of times voters will put their ballot into the machine, walking away thinking the ballot process has been completed, and the ballot will be discarded by the machine. This ballot is placed in the unscanned slot at the very front. A provisional affidavit ballot. This is when a voter walks into the place whose name is not in the poll book but is in the correct poll site. We allow them to use a provisional affidavit ballot, and then also absentee ballots. As an election inspectors, we need to deal with these ballots during the course of the day, and at the end of the night, they need to be recorded and placed in the proper bag for return to Mayville. When the polls are closed, the table team will also be asked to complete the ballot collection report and then the end of day transmittal report. When we are filling out reports, please do not leave blank lines. If nothing goes into that area, please mark it with a 0. Return signed reports to the Raspberry, then give the folder to the poll site coordinator. Return supplies to the appropriate bag. When in doubt, review the visual aids provided in each bag. The ballot collection report is used by the table team to collect write-in ballots from the machine and any unscanned ballots that may have been left in the machine. This tool is used primarily to make sure we remove the ballots to be sent back to Mayville. We must sign it in a bipartisan manner. Here is a sample of an unscanned ballot. The ballot was placed in the machine. The voter left, but the machine rejected the ballot. The ballot is placed in the unscanned slot, collected at the end of the night. All unscanned ballots must be tallied at the poll site before they are returned to Mayville. All unscanned ballots must be tallied at the end of the day and sent back to Mayville. The tally sheet is located in the unscanned bag. The poll site coordinator will ask 2 inspectors to please remove any unscanned ballots, complete the tally sheet, return the tally sheet and the ballots to the unscanned bag and then into the chocolate bag. We must count all unscanned ballots at the poll site. Once inspectors have made an attempt to tally the ballots and have signed the tally sheet, the Board of Elections may audit this sheet and make any corrections to any mistakes that may have happened.
Why do we complete these reports? You are telling the Board of Elections what you used and what you are sending back. The last number you issued and the next number available in the booklet. The number of voided ballots, unscanned ballots, and the number of affidavit ballots you issued. The number of BMD ballots you issued and the number of BMD ballots you are returning. This is a legal receipt for ballots pertaining to this election. It is mandatory that these supplies are returned to the chocolate bag at the end of the night and are returned election night to the Board of Elections. Please review the list below. For further reference, refer to the picture in the bag. These supplies are returned in the red poll site coordinator bag to the machine at the end of the night. Please review. And once again, refer to the picture in the bag for further reference. Please place the items listed below into the blue ballot bag and machine at the end of the night.
When working on the machine, our job is to ensure the voter has a successful voting experience. Make sure the voter can easily find the machine. Remember, our job is to assist but not to intrude. But be ready to assist with any ballot difficulties. And always ask the voter to stay at the machine until the LCD screen reads you have successfully cast your ballot. The poll site coordinator at the meeting in the morning will issue the red key bag, which contains the following items. Please review. Each ballot marking device machine, the BMD, will be in use at every poll site. Some sites that need more than one machine will have a non-BMD machine. Each machine will have a seal report. The purpose of the seal report is to protect the integrity of the machine while it is sitting in the polling site prior to Election Day. We will ask you as part of the machine team to verify the seals that are on the machine by simply recording each seal number. Remember, we also want you to record the number of ballots cast on the machine and the number of ballots cast on the protective counter. Again, this report must be signed by a bipartisan team of inspectors. Every machine in the front will have this card in it to assist you with opening the machine. And the first question we want to ask you when you're opening the machine in the morning, is this card in your hand? There are 9 simple steps to follow to open the machine on Election Day.
Remove the seal from the ballot box door. Record the seal number on the seal report and open the ballot box door. Remove and distribute all the supplies. Then remove the ADA kit from the front door and place on the back of the unit. Be sure to close and lock the front door.
Verify the administrative menu is on the LCD screen and ballots cast are at 0. Double check that all supplies have been removed from the machine, lock the ballot box door, and reseal.
Complete the seal report, and at the direction of the poll site coordinator, open polls at 6 a.m. for general elections. The LCD screen will tell you results are 0. Would you like to print a status report or 0 report? Touch 0. Then record on the seal report the public count found on the LCD, and from the 0 report, the protected count. After the report has finished printing, sign the report. The LCD screen will ask if you would like more 0 reports. Touch No.
Congratulations! The LCD screen will now show that the system is ready. At this point, broken seals should be returned to the red key bag. The signed 0 report should be placed in the red key bag, and the signed seal report should be returned to the raspberry. We are now going to review some of the messages you may see on the LCD screen when voters are casting their ballot.
Misread ballot. There are a couple possible reasons for this. The barcode was torn, or a wrong ballot was issued. After 3 attempts, the ballot should be counted as unscanned, or a new ballot issued. Voter has a choice to get a new ballot or place in unscanned slot.
Ambiguous marks. The machine will tell us when it cannot read a ballot correctly. Perhaps the voter did not fill in the circle completely, or they used a check mark or an X. By touching the More button, the machine will tell us exactly what contest was marked with ambiguous marks. This can be corrected by simply hitting the Return button, asking the voter to check to make sure all the circles are filled in completely, and then re-entering the ballot into the machine.
Filled in too many ovals. Just follow the directions on the LCD screen.
Cross-endorsed candidates. The machine will tell you that you filled in more than one oval for a candidate in at least one contest. It'll also tell you that while your candidate preference is clear, it is not clear which party you prefer. If you do not change your ballot, your vote will count for the candidate, but only under the party listed first on the ballot. The screen will also tell you to change your ballot to reflect your party preference, press Return, and ask for a new ballot. To ignore this message and cast your ballot as is, just press the green Cast button.
Blank ballots. Blank ballot detected. Please ensure that you use the proper marking pen in the proper voting areas. To return and correct the ballot, press Return. To cast the ballot as is, press Cast.
Paper jams. The first example shows us that a paper jam occurred and the ballots have been saved. Here, the machine is asking you to drop the ballot into the ballot box when cleared. We are asking that any jammed ballots where the results have been saved are taken and placed in the front area of the machine with the write-in ballots. The next slide shows paper jam detected. Results have not been saved. Here we must go through the procedures of clearing the jam, removing the ballot, and giving it to the voter and ask them to vote again. Just in review of ballot jams. Read the message on the LCD screen. Results have been saved. Put the ballot into the write-in slot. Results not saved. Return the ballot to the voter to re-vote.
Machine failure. Guide voters to a second machine if available. Open the emergency slot on the front of the machine that is not functioning. Poll site coordinator will call your area director for assistance immediately. We should never have people standing in line to cast a ballot. Assure voters that a bipartisan team will insert ballots when the unit is back in operation.
Just as in the morning for opening the machine, you have this card that can be used to close the machines at the end of the night. Please be sure you are using this card and follow the 10 simple steps to close the polls.
Machine closing, gone in 5. At 9 p.m., after all voters in the building have voted, the poll site coordinator announces the polls are closed. Firmly contact the I button to the security keypad to enter the administrative menu on the LCD screen. Press the Close button option on the screen. The following message will appear. Are you certain you wish to close the polls? Press Yes.
After pressing Yes, the detail report tape will now print. After printing, the screen will ask if you want more copies. If none are required, press No. The inspectors that signed the report in the morning will now sign the end-of-day report. Record on the seal report the public count found on the LCD and from the end-of-day report the protected count. Place the end-of-day report into the blue speed bag.
Machine closing, gone in 5. The administrative menu will now reappear. Power down the machine by touching Power Down. You will now see the message. Are you certain you wish to shut down the tabulator? Touch Yes. The LCD screen will go black.
Machine closing, gone in 5, continued. Be sure the blinking lights on the front of the machine are off, and then remove the poll worker card door seal. Place the broken seal into the red key bag immediately and remove the poll worker data card. Place the data card and the end-of-day report into the blue speed bag. After you have double-checked that the end-of-day report and data card are in the bag, seal the bag. Now, give the sealed bag to the bag runner. Sign the receipt that the bag runner will give you. Put that receipt in the card on the front of the machine. At this point, the table team can start their ballot collection report, and they can also remove any write-in ballots from the machine. Now that the blue speed bag has left the building, it's time to start packing. We must repeat that it's very important at the end of the day. The following supplies are packed into the blue ballot bag and returned to Mayville that night along with the chocolate bag to allow Board of Elections staff to start reconciling ballots Wednesday morning.
All optical scanned ballots that were recorded by the machine, all used ballot booklet stubs, any opened ballot booklets, not shrink-wrapped, all poll books.
We're going to continue our packing process, and it is important that the following items are placed into the machine at the end of the night. Any unused ballots in the original shrink wrap, privacy sleeves, the sample ballot placard tubes, the red poll site coordinator bag, the surge protectors, extension cords. Return the ADA kit to the front emergency unscanned slot. When the machine is packed, locked, sealed, cover the unit for return to Mayville the following day. Place the keys in the red key bag and return the key bag to the poll site coordinator.